Hey, thank you for joining me. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Tactical and Practical Thursdays. You know by now what we do here on Tactical and Practical Thursdays. We roll up our sleeves and we actually use the software. Because if we're not using the software, then we're just talking. And if we just keep talking about the same things over and over and over again, then how do we actually make progress or show that we're making progress? So today we're going to be covering more details on the Jira product roadmap, specifically displaying status. Now, last time we got together and we talked, we reviewed the Jira My Discovery project. We looked at the product roadmap. We looked at the Gantt view. We looked at the ideas view. And we looked at a couple different ways to gather ideas, sort ideas, and rally stakeholders around products and cards so that we can get organized and collaborate better. And today we're going to drill down into that a little more detailed, a little more granular. So if you're looking at my screen, what you can see is the product roadmap view. And like we covered last time, what it's saying at a high level is that there are 9 ideas here. And those ideas are represented by these squares, or what I call cards. Now, the idea in the product roadmap is a new concept for Jira, something they came out with this year. And ideas are linked to epics. Similar to how we reviewed goals are linked to epics. And the reason why that's important is because if you're a Jira user like myself, I've been using Jira for over 10 years, you're very familiar with the concept of an epic or stories. So the fundamental building block of what our designers and developers work on are stories. Those stories group up into epics. And then you can have all kinds of hierarchical structures on top of your epic. In this example, the cards are the ideas from a product perspective. Below them are the epics that represent the work. And that's an important idea I want everyone to wrap their head around. Because what we're looking at on the screen is the roadmap in a now, next, nice to have view. And like we talked about last time, what I'm highlighting is everything the team or teams are working on right now. And it's important to have that view so that when you're discussing these things, you can discuss progress, identify any bottlenecks ahead of time, and potentially mitigate those risks so that they don't impact delivery. In this particular card, it speaks to the title of a new rewards program for some type of financial service that's being offered. They're going to give clients a reward. That's why it says here, this is an idea about X, as an example. The goal is to increase revenue. And like we talked about earlier, or in another video, we could have a goal that instead of in saying increase revenue, perhaps it could say something around increase customer satisfaction. So if we click on this card, what we just did was we made the card full screen. I'm going to go back for a second because I know I did that quick. All right. So we went from our roadmap view to drilling down specifically or drilling in specifically on this one particular card. All right. And this is a template. You can customize different templates for this card. And it has some important fields like the hypotheses, how that hypothesis is validated, the decisions. There's a couple different types of templates, but this is a pretty good one. Okay, excuse me. All right. So the fields that I want to direct your attention to are right here. Delivery progress. And what it says here is delivery progress is an estimation of progress of delivery tickets from the Jira epics, like we talked about, that are linked to this idea. For more details, open the idea in the delivery section. So what I did was I went into the settings button and I looked at the fields and I added it. Okay. Once that field is added, click here again. We're going to say pin on top, pin fields. Now it's here, delivery progress. We're going to say edit field. Okay. Now, this is very important. Keep in mind, we are in a testing environment. So the data here is fictitious. This is not a real issue. It's not linked to a real Jira project. This is our Jira tactical and practical backlog project for testing purposes. So what we're showing here, as you guys are familiar with traditional Jira projects, this purple lightning icon is an epic. And this green little bookmark icon are all of the stories that pertain to this epic. And what it's showing is you can have multiple epics linked to this idea for a new customer reward program. All right, for a travel booking platform in this example. And it's saying that there are 30 items in progress in total, and here 5 to do, 5 to done, etc. So this is why we're doing this, for this particular visual bar right here. So what it's saying is the delivery progress bar is going to have these green items, these blue items, and then done items. And when you hover over this in a non-testing environment, it will actually tell you the number of items that are to do, in progress, or done. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. Now, I know it's hard to visualize, but try and stay with me. When we have multiple ideas, multiple cards in our product roadmap that are being worked on right now, we want a visual sense of how far along they are. Let's say, for example, now means the current quarter, and the current quarter ends in 2 months from now. We want an idea of what that progress is. That progress bar that I just showed you gives you an indication of, number one, all of the epics that are linked to this particular idea, all of the teams that are working on it, all of the stories that fall below those epics, the stories that are done or in progress. And it'll give you a visual view of that. So once again, we'll make this card large. We'll hit the settings. We'll look at these pinned fields, which are the fields that show on the card. We could even move that up if we wanted. Now keep in mind that there's nothing here to show the visual progress of the bar because we're in a testing environment. But the way that I got this here was I scrolled down and I just slid this slider to the right to get it in view. And then I pinned it so it actually shows on the card. Okay, I'm gonna go back to field view and we're gonna close this. All right. So inside of the Jira product roadmap, we can view everything that's being worked on for the current quarter, now, for the next quarter, for Q3, and then nice to have features that if we get any of these two done early, we can start to revisit the prioritization for the nice to have features. So now, next, later, nice to have. The particular card or cards we're looking at in the now column can be customized to bring in additional fields in view. In the example we reviewed, the pinned field, delivery progress, which is a bar chart view that contains the in progress, to do, and done items sorted by color. Having this view on the card right here is a great visual aid when we have the different teams. So if you're running a scrum of scrums kind of meeting where you have multiple teams involved contributing to an idea or contributing to multiple goals, having a visual indication of how far along this is helpful. One case study of this could be that the visual bar does not depict the accurate representation of the work being done around this idea. And maybe that's because the teams are actually further along and they haven't been updating their epics or stories or Jira. Or maybe it's because they're further along and they actually haven't put in their stories or they haven't linked it to an epic. Or maybe they have some sort of administrator or project person that's cleaning up their Jiras and not communicating with the team properly. So this is actually showing as being further along than it actually is. So those are two examples of how using the progress bar can potentially stop us from being on track from delivering this. In addition to it being a good visual cue of where this item is. Okay. Well, thank you guys. As always, I appreciate these opportunities in the Tactical and Practical Thursdays to roll up our sleeves, actually use the software, and think about how we would use this day to day to help enhance our efficiency, our effectiveness, our collaboration, and get a better view in regards to what's actually happening. If you have any questions about this stuff, how I set this up, how you could set it up, or if you just want to talk through some ideas, as always, please feel free to give me a call. Remember to hustle harder. Thank you, and let's talk again soon. Bye-bye.